Hello everyone in Rowan class. Let's have a look at our English for today. Just to begin with, remember you don't need to send this bit in. Can you choose 3 of this week's focus words in SPAG and use them in a sentence? Try to include one of these words in today's problem section of your writing as a bit of a challenge exit. That would be super impressive. And then when you're ready, join us on the next slide. So as usual, let's reflect on yesterday's learning. What was it we did? Hopefully, you completed chapter 1 and possibly chapter 2, depending on the length of your story. So, the beginning and build up section. How can you improve that? Have you left your build up on a bit of a cliffhanger? Have you used suspense before moving on to that next chapter, the problem section? Have you used a capital letter at the beginning of every sentence? Are you missing any punctuation? Have you added in too many commas incorrectly? Have you remembered to use your vocabulary map to upscale any adjectives or verbs? Are your sentence openers all the same? Are they all fronted adverbials? Do they all start with I or we or they? Can we maybe improve those? Once you spent 5 to 10 minutes doing that, join me for our next story. I love this one actually. Just remembered which one this is. So it's Tyrannosaurus hygiene. And it goes something like this. I think you're going to like this one. Tyrone King to see Dr. Rose Gummeridge, please. Called the receptionist over the dentist's intercom. No response. Tyrone King, she repeated. Rita, the receptionist, peered around the corner to find a 12-foot Tyrannosaurus Rex trying to get into the dentist's office. In shock, Rita could do nothing but stare. Using his tiny hands, Tyrone the T-Rex attempted 6 times to open the dentist's door, but when he finally managed it, realised he couldn't fit through the doorway anyway. Hearing the commotion, Dr. Gummeridge looked up. Trepidation immediately filled her, but before she could scream, she realised that she wasn't the only one trembling in fear. The dinosaur was shaking, and it was obvious that he was terrified of the dentist. My tooth hurts, said Tyrone in a small voice. Small for a dinosaur, that is. Dr. Gummeridge decided to do her examination in the car park to give them some more room. Open wide, said the dentist, and as Tyrone opened his massive jaw, she almost fainted. His breath smelt of mouldy cheese and old socks, but 10 times worse. She had never come across a smell like it before, and even from a distance could see almost all of his banana-sized teeth were black. What an awful-looking set of teeth! I've never seen anything like this before. When was the last time you saw the dentist, Mr. King? Asked Dr. Gummeridge, looking doubtful. About 65 million years ago, mumbled Tyrone, a bit ashamed. The dentist shook her head sadly. She tried to take a closer look, but Tyrone was too tall and she couldn't reach high enough, and her instruments were too small for his massive jaw. Thinking for a moment, she said, Come back in a week and I'll be sure your teeth will be as clean as they'll ever be. Tyrone arrived a week later to find Dr. Gummeridge had assembled a whole crew. 4 gardeners, 3 builders, 2 plasterers, and the fire brigade from the local village. Armed with a face mask each, she set them to work on her clever plan. The gardeners used their hoes to scrape out all of the rotting meat from between Tyrone's teeth. The builders used a cement mixer to mix the filling through all the nasty cavities. The plasterers filled the holes and smoothed the mixture down. The gardeners used sweeping brushes to brush his teeth, and the fire brigade rinsed his mouth with their powerful hoses. 4 hours later, his teeth were as clean as freshly washed clothes. Tyrone was delighted. He thanked the dentist, but she declined the thanks and said he owed it just as much to everyone who helped with cleaning his teeth, which he happily did. as Tyrone set off to show off his new and improved teeth to all his dino friends. Dr. Gumridge called after him, "Maybe just don't leave it so long next time." The dinosaur winked, flashed her a sparkling smile, and carried on into the distance. I love that one, so creative, brilliant. So again, what did you like about the story? Was there a clear structure? Did it have many characters? First person, third person? Would you change anything? And how could this story work for another animal or insect or creature? That's the real question that I think would be interesting to think about. How could that or something similar work for another animal or insect or creature? So remember, today you're going to be completing the problem chapter or chapters for your story, depending on the length. Try to use your vocab word map to boost your language. See if you can use some dialogue to progress the plot or give the reader an insight into your characters. Have fun. I'm really looking forward to reading these at the end, or actually listening to you read them and tell me a story at the end of the week. I will upload another blank document in case you can't find the file from yesterday, but hopefully you saved your work elsewhere so you can copy and paste it in and then add today's work. Enjoy your creative writing.